Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit. Glamour. Grit.
I know this firsthand. Texas Health Resources doesn't just treat illness, it ignites hope. I'm impressed at how Texas Health fights the root causes, not just the symptoms, of poor health in our communities. Texas Health joins hands with the community organizations to forge powerful partnerships that help our neighbors thrive. The outcome of these partnerships are programs such as food pantries, school literacy programs, mental health support at area schools, free cancer screenings, and so much more. Through the Texas Health Resources Foundation, you can help. To find out more about how Texas Health is serving the community, please go to texashealth.com/foundation.
You guys, I am stopped all the time and I get the same question. What boots do you wear? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's an easy answer and it's always going to be the same. Tacovas. They are the comfiest boot, the best looking boot, and they last the longest. I've tried them all, trust me. There's amazing boots out there, but Tacovas takes it to the next level. Whether you're a cowboy, a longtime rancher, or a first-time boot buyer, Tacovas has the answer for you. I personally shop in the Fort Worth Stockyards location, but you can go online to tacovas.com, Tecovas.com, and check out all the boots for yourself. You won't be sorry, trust me, as a longtime boot wearer and somebody who likes comfort on their feet as much as they like to look nice, Tacovas is the answer. So don't waste any more time. Get to Tacovas.com, buy you a pair, and then show me them online so we can compare. Because I've got most of them, but I want to see you guys rocking them too. You'll thank me later. Tacovas.com. Don't waste another second. Welcome back, guys. It is Monday, which is our favorite day of the week.
Celebrity Monday.
I was thinking this morning, because I was thinking about who we have coming on today, and I was like, I don't know if I've said this in 2 seasons, but I'm so grateful for the opportunities that this podcast has given us for the people that we've been able to share some time with and get to just like soak in for even, 30, 45 minutes, an hour. It's like, it means so much to me, and I feel like I just had to put that out there.
Oh my God, look at you, Mr. Thoughtful.
Well,
I love it. I think you're just loving all the guests that I'm bringing on.
It's amazing, but today especially, it's just
I'm obsessed with this human. I feel like we could be related. She's part of my gang. We are one and connected through best friends. So it's like, now we're best friends.
I love that. But she's conquered so many different things in her life. And I'm just so inspired and so just motivated by just reading about her and knowing about her.
Tell us about her, baby.
Okay, she's a designer, she's an entrepreneur, she's a lifestyle expert, TV personality, podcast host, author. I mean, her global lifestyle brand, Macbeth Collection, it's just been around since 1999. I mean, she's got everything from like office accessories to eyewear to luggage to cosmetic bags. I mean, Target, Macy's, Bed Bath & Beyond, you name it, her products are in it. She just released her memoir in 2021 called Caviar Dreams, Tuna Fish Budget, which makes me smile, which is why it was kind of hard to get out, because I just love that title. She launched a non-alcoholic beverage line recently, these delicious mocktails called Soirée. There's so many things. And of course, tens of millions of people around the world know her as you know who on Bravo's Real Housewives of New Jersey. Guys, today we have I'm going to call her the Caftan Queen, Miss Margaret Jospehs. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm so fabulous. Thank you so much for having me here. First of all, you guys are so gorgeous, so young, fabulous. Thank you for having me here. I mean, I'm honored to be on here.
Oh my God. Well, and sometimes I do forget, because I've watched you for years and years and years and years, that you don't know me. Like, that's the funniest part, that I'm like, oh my gosh, you feel like family to me. And I think I would walk right up to you if I saw you in everyday life. And then you forget that you just know them from TV so well.
No, I know exactly what you're saying, but I feel like we know each other. First of all, you're wearing leopard pants, which is so Jersey.
I did it
So,
for
I
you,
mean,
sister.
that is so us. So thank you so much. And that was such an introduction. Thank you. I appreciate
Well,
it.
I always giggle too. Eric and I, because we met in New York and we thought we were going to stay in New York. And I said, if we ever have to move back, I am moving to New Jersey. I will not be in New York, a Manhattan girly. I will be in New Jersey. You're going to die laughing at this. The first thing I did, I moved to New York in 2011. We went to Caroline Manzo's party that night with
Oh, you did.
because I was always obsessed with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. That was my number. Do you remember Ryan and I?
Yeah,
And
no.
Albie like hit on us and we thought we were like nailed it. I remember I lied and I said I was Glinda on Broadway because I had just moved to New York for musical theater.
Okay, that is so hysterical.
So
I love
I've
it.
always been one with Real Housewives of New Jersey. And
Well, listen, you'd be on the show if you lived here, for sure.
I would die. And I always think you really would have done so well with that original group too. Like I could totally see you and Caroline and Dina. You really could go in so well with that OG crew.
Oh, absolutely. I could totally fit in with them. No doubt. I know Caroline. She's very sweet. We've met a few times. She's a doll. We would have gotten along magnificently. So I definitely think so. And listen, I'm a different type of Jersey girl. Everybody here has like a strong personality, but I think everybody meshes very well together.
Well, and I always
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I always giggle too. It's like they always say there's maybe a connection with like mob and mafia. And ask Eric, I've said this for years, I would be a fabulous mob wife. I think they'd never expect it from me.
I know. I could see it. Listen, you just have to be glamorous, tough, pretend you don't know what's going on. I mean,
And then bam, bam, bam. Then you're there.
I know. And bam, 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 come in for the kill. Yes. I always say, I love that scene in Goodfellas with Lorraine Bracco, where she's like, can I have some money? And he's like, how much? And she goes, this much, and she shows the cash. So I always tease my husband like that. He's like, I'm like, toss me some cash. He's like, how much? I'm like, this
much. I love it.
Okay, really fast. You just said your husband, Joe. Can you give us an update on his health? I know you updated Taylor, but I want all of our listeners here because we kind of ended the season on a cliff note. And I just had a melanoma, and cancer is very prevalent, obviously, in everybody's family, it seems.
Yes, yes. Are you okay?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am. So thank goodness. But it is so one of those things. Joe is such an important part of Real Housewives, and I just felt like we left it.
Yeah, it was so weird. You know what it was? His last test, his biopsy was after we got done filming, but they didn't wrap it up even at like that alternate reunion. What with Joe is, yes, he has first stage prostate cancer, but they decide not to treat it when they do another test called a genomic test, which decides how fast it's growing. And he has, thank God, a very slow growing form. So it might not even change for 10 years. So he gets tested every 5 months. They do blood work, they do MRIs, they do everything to see if there's any change. And he hasn't had any change. So it's active surveillance for now. So thank you for asking. He's doing great. And we just monitor him to make sure he's okay.
Did that change your mindset, especially this past season? Because I know for me, it's like, it's a show in a sense, and it's your job. And I know it's real life, but there's certain things that you're like, Eric and I, our son was very sick while he was filming 1883, but you can kind of put that aside because it's your job. Do you feel like this season, though, was that always the small stuff? You were just especially over it because you're like, guys, my husband could have, we didn't know the stage yet or where things were going.
I think I have a whole different perspective. First, the father of my kids died the year before. And then I found out 12 months later. And, I don't show a lot. Obviously, I never show my children, right? And everyone's like, oh, your kids hate you. People speculate a lot because I keep that private, but they're all very private individuals and they choose not to be on TV. So I dealt with that. The father of my kids died. I have a biological son with my ex-husband. That was very devastating. It was a very hard year. Then I find out, the love of my life, Joe, could possibly have cancer, winds up having cancer. So I was like, I can't deal with the minutia. Things just aren't important to me that were important before. I didn't want to focus on that, the negativity. I was like, I don't need certain people in my life. I think it changed my perspective on a lot of stuff.
Definitely. And I think the silliness too, like of course, the iconic text message. And you're just like, I'm laying this out there. I'm done. Like, there's no point. Because I feel like you've always not played the game right. I was so proud of you in that moment. You were like, I'm not going to gossip about, like, these are the facts. And I'm done.
Yes.
And I'm walking away from it.
No, that's exactly why I felt like that with this screenshot. I was like, I'm not going to play this game. She's going to go to Dolores, say this, that, and all these other things. I'm just like, hey, this was just at the baseball game 3 weeks ago, not even. And you're going to pretend this didn't happen. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play this game. You want to play this game with me? That's it. Boom, boom, boom. And I sent it. It was very housewifery, but everyone's like, you're not a good friend. That was a private text message. No, I am a good friend, but don't screw with me. I'm going to keep it real. If I said something about someone, I'm going to say to their face. I don't need to gossip behind people's back. Just like everybody could see, I didn't get along with certain castmates, Teresa and her husband and things like that. But I don't go act like I love them either. I don't cozy up to them. I don't act fake or anything like that. Like other people who act fake and act like they like them and, they really hate their guts. I mean, that's just not me.
When it's still your place of work, like you act professional with them, but you don't deal. They're not your friend. And it's just,
no, they're not my friend. I'm not going to pretend, for you to be my friend. I'm not going to cozy up. I'm not going to blow smoke up someone's ass either. If it is someone, my friend, and I don't like the way you behaved, I'm also going to say it to you because that's being a good friend.
No, it is still so wild. And I want to dive in a little, take it back a little because you were a household name. People didn't realize it before the Housewives came an opportunity for you. And how did that all start? Were you always into fashion and things like that? Because I think I even knew of you before you were even on Real Housewives, is through your brand and everything.
Yeah, people didn't totally associate it, but I started a company at my kitchen table after I had my son. I was always into prints and patterns and design. I went to FIT and I was like, there was no good storage solutions for little kids, toys, things like this. So we were doing things monogrammed, but we did it on buckets, excuse me, believe it or not, and things like that. And we made utilitarian things look cool and chic. So we did stuff for Shabby Chic. We did stuff for Dylan's Candy Bar. We did stuff for all high-end stores across the country. We were in Neiman Marcus. We were in Saks. We were everywhere. And then and it was great. I was on Oprah's list, favorite things 6 times. So it was just, we had a great company. And then we started licensing, where we could take all our prints and patterns and our look and apply them to all different products and just get paid on royalty. Jeez. We started that in 2009. And that's when we started selling the masses, the Walmarts, the Burlingtons, the Targets, and everybody else. And it really blew up my company. And that's what we started doing. And it was really great. And the way I really got on Housewives was I wasn't going to do it. Joe and I were going to do our own show previously called Pigtails and Power Tools, because I was always, which is really kind of funny. I was always in the home space because, we design home accessories and things like that. And we had a horrible lawsuit. One of my licenses got me in a bad lawsuit, and our home show didn't pan out. And Housewives had come to me again. And I said, oh my God, I'm in a horrible lawsuit. My bank account's frozen. I better get my ass on TV.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amen. And that's what we did.
You guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you get on La Pulga Tequila. We are so proud of it. It's here in Fort Worth, Texas, but it's created in the highlands of Jalisco, Mexico. It is my favorite tequila. It is 100% agave, meaning it's made with 3 ingredients: agave, water, and yeast. That's it. You don't need all the other junk. So many other tequilas add all this other stuff, and that's why you feel so sick the next day. La Pulga is easy, it's smooth, and it tastes the best. Not only that, but listen to this. Mexican rock music is played to agitate the yeast, so the party starts before the tequila even hits the bottle. That's the kind of party I want. La Pulga Tequila. It's smooth, it's natural, it's delicious. Try it today if you haven't yet. You'll thank me later. Was there some sort of like screen test period, or hey, we want to sample you out to make sure what we think is possible will actually translate on television?
I was very blessed. I didn't have to do that. I think because when I did Pigtails and Power Tools, Housewives had come that time. They already saw that I was on TV, that other shows had wanted us. I did daytime lifestyle expert things all over Today's Show. Oh my God, could you still see me?
Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
Oh, I don't know what happened here. Oh my God. Okay, we might have to like edit this. I don't know. I thought this was on Do Not Disturb. I am so sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, no.
Lex, could you just come fix my Zoom? I don't know what's going on. Lex,
I love
I
Flex.
can't see myself, or I can't see Santine Eric. But anyway, so I always did lifestyle expert stuff. So they didn't really make me test. I was very lucky. They came back to me. They were like, are you ready to do Housewives now? We need, we're casting for season 7. And I was like, yes, I am. They came to the house, checked it out. I spoke to them. I didn't have to have a test period. I came on as a full-time housewife right away.
Well, and you know what is so interesting? And I will say this, I've been watching Real Housewives since season 1, everything. I've watched every single franchise. I actually did not know that your son was your biological son. That is how well of a job you have done of kind of keeping that part of your life separate. Because
exactly,
you have done the best. I mean, I really think you were the only one. Because for you, really kind of, I feel like until this season with all the Louis things, that I was like, oh my gosh, that's her actual son. I thought you just had like helped raise him. And I was like, oh no, that's hers.
Yeah, no, I actually have a biological son, which was, and I think I kept it very private.
Very.
And that's what it is. Like, so how did you even get in touch with him? Why would you do something like that? I've kept it out of the public eye. So when they were saying I was trying to use it for a storyline or anything remotely like that, is ridiculous. I purposely have kept my kids out of the public eye. Most people like yourself, who was a big lover of the show, didn't even realize I had a biological son.
No, I mean, shockingly, until this season, I didn't realize it was your biological son. And that's why I brought it up, because you said biological. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad to clarifying.
Yeah.
You have done such a beautiful job. Was that so insanely frustrating for you? Because I know with Eric and I, our kids are on our Instagrams and things like that. But I can't imagine having an adult child, and it's your job. Real Housewives is your job.
Yes,
and then it starts going into their lives. And it's like,
yes, that's why I've kept it. They don't even, my kids don't even have social media. My oldest stepson from my first marriage does, but my other kids keep themselves off of social media. They want no part of it. And that's why it was a very conscious decision. When I got on the show, I said, my kids can never do this. They can't have anything to do with this. And they were very understanding of that. They're like, listen, they're adults. They don't live with you. It's okay. And so that's why I was so freaked out.
That would have, my gloves would have been off. That would have done me in.
I was like, this isn't me. And the constant, like, I made it up line. No, it wasn't like a phone call, a hang up. It was very obvious. There was a conversation. It was a threat. It was all of those things. And you know what? If I wanted to blow it up and make a media thing out of it, I could have. But again, I wanted to protect my son's identity. And that's what it was. And then, then you have the trolls trying to look it up and the harassing and everything else. And I was just like, I don't want to deal with this. This has gone way too far when it's going into people's lives outside of the show.
Totally. That don't want to be a part of it. That's really
that don't want to be a part of it.
You've done the best job. Of keeping them out of it.
Yeah. And keeping it private. And that's not me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do things that are not taking place in the public eye. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you spoke to his ex. No, there was things out there. This woman was already running a marathon, for narcissistic abuse. She was out in the media way before we ever knew who this woman was. And she was very public and dropping things to bloggers and things like that. When you're on the show, you're talking about things that are out there in the media already.
Yeah.
That is your job to do that. No one had to dig anything up, so that's all nonsense. And I feel like, because I am strong enough to talk about what's really going on, I get a lot of the backlash, but I'm just like, I can take it. I'm just very honest. I'm honest about all my own warts.
Totally.
So if people don't want to be honest about their warts, that's on them.
And I've never seen you break before. Like, you really have, because I think you are honest. So it's not one of those things. It's like, if you, back a dog into a corner, you're going to bite. You never have to. Because it really is, you have done the best job of just being like, here it is, baby.
Exactly. You have to come out. Listen, if there's any skeletons on a housewife show, you have to come out with it right out of the gate. That's why when I got on the show, I was like, listen, my first marriage didn't work out. I did have an affair. I left, my first husband for Joe. You have to just come out with the whole thing.
And
I had lawsuits. I had all, with my business. Things happen. You have to be honest about it.
And you said on Taylor, sorry, honey, and then I'll ask. Obviously, I could take this whole podcast
No,
myself.
please.
You know,
I'm
obsessed.
learning so much, and I'm loving it.
You said on Taylor's podcast as well, Jackie had already met with both exes before Louis was even on the show.
That's absolutely true. And I did not know that till a week before we filmed the season finale. I found out.
Y'all, that Jackie, and after she has an eating disorder and she's in recovery, I really thought this could have been her redemption season of coming in and she's like her mentally healthiest self, I was hoping.
Yes.
And wowzer, did we get a completely different Jackie?
No, it's really sad and unfortunate, but I always say she's Teresa with brains. She was much more devious than I ever thought. She's very calculated, clearly.
Yeah.
She is only concerned about herself. And it's unfortunate because I really did care for her. I would never, and she was so upset about that screenshot. And I said, you're upset about the screenshot. I would never reveal personal conversations that we've discussed about our families.
Yes.
Anything else like that. That is off limits because those are things that aren't on the show. My relationship with her and Dolores is on the show.
Yeah, and it's like a slightly petty, it's a game playing. It's not that deep. Like, I think you've said before.
No, that's not that
the
deep.
show got so dark that
Yes.
it is hard to come back from. Like, when it was the petty, like
Yes.
the cookies and the screenshots, and that is all fun and games. It's like we were watching Gia as dressing up. That's when it was like the creme de la creme. That's the drama it likes.
Yes.
And then I really do believe, and I will say this, and the haters are going to come. I enjoyed Teresa. I thought after jail, I really thought she
too.
wasn't
I loved
as
her when she went
I just don't think she knew. I think she married him young. I think she was in her parents' home, got married, got on the show. And so I think she was growing up and kind of figuring things out. And when she came back from jail, I'm like, okay, let's see where she goes. And because I think all the mistakes, I really don't believe she was maliciously, like what you said, purposely. I think she was just didn't get it. Then she came back and I was just baffled. I was like, you really could have, and I love Melissa. I have loved Melissa since day one. That is my girl. I think she is so real. My parents actually met Joe in the Bahamas. They loved him. They said he couldn't have been sweeter. My mom was like, he sat and talked for like an hour and didn't even talk about her. They didn't talk about Housewives. She was like, he was the sweetest human being I've ever met.
He's so warm. He's amazing with people. His little eyes glisten. He is the sweetest guy in the whole world.
And you can tell the relationship with the girls. That's been my hardest thing. And I know kids are off limits. But I think I'm 35 and I really kind of grew up a lot of the time. I could have been their babysitter is what I say. That's been the hardest, watching them go against like the family and things like that, because they really kind of stayed out of it for such a long time. And I really feel like they've been put in a very bad position lately of deciding between their family as a whole and this new man in their life. And
when kids are involved, it's very hard and it's very big. And that's the other reason. You cannot bring kids into the public eye. And even though they grew up on TV and drag them in the middle of this, I think Melissa and Joe have done a wonderful job of not putting their kids in the middle, of just, having them on the show the right amount and just not dragging them into it.
Is that something you had to like sit down and have a discussion with your family and be like, y'all, look, I'm going to do this show and I'm going to be out there. Everybody's going to know who I am all of a sudden, but I want to promise you, I'm going to keep you guys in this separate, like, is that a conscious choice as a unit? Is that like just something you like set some guidelines that everybody in your family knows you're all on the same page on? Or is it one of those things you're kind of figuring out as you go and just decide like, oh, I have to keep them separate?
It was a conscious choice as a unit right from the beginning. There was no way I was going to do the show or that my family I needed their stamp of approval. Like they were, my kids were not happy. I'm going to be honest. They were not happy. And they were like, you are very TMI in life in general, right? Even at family dinner. They're like, shut it, gag, enough, you're embarrassing us or whatever it is. I've always been TMI Marge. So to be out there. And, I don't think, they're like, you did have an affair. And it's like going to be out there. But everyone in our neighborhood knew already. Everybody knew, I'd left my husband. So they're like, the world is weighing in on their mother. So I think that was probably going to be hard for them. But we made a conscious decision as a unit ahead of time. They want nothing to do with it. They don't want to be discussed. There will be no photos on my Instagram of my kids, of my family. We'll take family photos, but they're not for public consumption.
Amazing. And network was completely fine and on board with all of that from the beginning.
Yeah, they were very fine with it. They're like, they don't live in the house. It's absolutely fine. The only one that does film with us is my oldest stepson, Brett, who just got married. There was always a little bit of a strained relationship with him and my ex-husband. And my ex-husband, who also did film with me before he died, so that was fine. He was willing to film. He enjoys it. And so that was okay. And that was the only one in my family who would.
Well,
besides my mother, I have Lexi, who's worked with me forever, who's the best. Her son, who's like a little boy. Marlene. I have enough, fun, kooky characters in my life that are great for the camera.
Definitely. And do you feel, because technically you're not on contract with Bravo right now, is it hard for you sometimes, especially, it's hard for me as not as a cast member. Look, I'm already going as me as a cast member. I'm ready, baby. When Andy, I don't know if maybe it's the money marks or he's watched her grow up, defends Teresa sometimes. Sometimes I truly, it makes me jump out of my skin. I don't get it. Or I'm like, stop this. Or do you think you give him grace that that's the business part of his mind and he knows what he's doing? She makes, good TV. It's just sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, are you not watching what I'm watching?
No, sometimes, listen, I think at a reunion, he holds her feet to the fire like he does everybody else. At a reunion, I think he always holds everybody's feet to the fire, no matter which way, he personally feels, whatever is happening. And I think I'll watch what happens live. He asks the questions people want to say, but he doesn't weigh in on his opinion.
Is that so hard? Like, don't you want him to just go to town?
Sometimes that's how you want everybody to weigh in on their opinion, especially when you feel so strongly. But it doesn't faze me because I think he stays as neutral as he can. And I think that's okay because I'd want him to be the same way about me.
Well, everyone just has a good opinion about you. There's nothing bad to say about you.
I think Andy and I are also the same age, so like he's defending me when people like, oh, she's old, she's this. I'm like, well, Andy and I are the same age. So,
yeah, you're like, give me a break, baby. Now, does Bravo, on a business deal, I know with some of our business, do they have, what is it called? Like equity in a sense with your endorsements and things like that once you join Housewives?
I don't know anybody else's contract or whatever anybody else does. I just know because I had businesses ahead of time. It didn't affect me.
Oh, that's so nice because you always wonder.
You know what it is? I came in with an established business already, and I think whatever they've done with me has been very fair.
Definitely, and I think that's what we watched a lot of that with. I think Bethany Frankel when Skinny Girl and all of that happened. It was such an interesting sign because she really used the platform to blow up her company in a great way.
Yes.
So you're saying like basically like, hey, we gave you this platform, put you out there.
Can we have some equity in the game?
And now that you're starting businesses off of our kind of success we've given you, we want a piece of all of that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think, I understand it, that business blew up very big and I think they promoted a lot. And I get that. And I don't know, but my business, I had a very established business prior to coming on.
I'd love to talk to you about that for a minute because I love you. You're so like multifaceted in design, and Sainty and I are actually, into design as well. And we've got our brand Sainty and Eric that we're, trying to cultivate, and we want our hand in different things. Like you are goals for us. And
thank you. I've had some, but I'm very smart in licensing. So anything you want to ask me on or off camera is fine.
I love it. I love it. Like
that's great.
Initial questions, like what advice would you have for young aspiring designers, that want to have so many different things, but it's like, what is our brand? Is it going to be, this design that we love and are coming out with, or this or that, or it's like it as a whole? I guess what would be your advice for not scatterbrained designers, but designers that want to do it all. But it's like,
Yes.
one step at a time.
Okay, first of all, you have to do one thing first and do it right. And differentiate yourself with a point of view. You have to have a point of view, know your audience, and lean into it and build a community around it. And I really do believe that. When I first came out, listen, so there was no social media. There wasn't, which is embarrassing to almost say.
We got married, they
it's
didn't have
really
social
true.
media. So it's still.
I mean, there was like
it
Twitter
in
and
the
stuff,
late-
but
it was the late 90s, and social media wasn't a thing. So when I started doing it, I was very prep. It was very preppy, for a lack of a better word. And I was like really doing monogramming, and people weren't doing a lot of that then. I was bringing back something old school. Then it became very popular again later. So I was really leaning into that, really leaning into my audience, and focusing just on that. So I would think any designer, I still go to that thing. It's just like either you're gonna do something and find your niche, right? Or you're going to do something. It doesn't matter if someone else is doing it. You're going to do it better. Find something and do it better. Just like, Lexi and I are doing a mocktail now, right? We're creating a community with it. People aren't drinking. We're going to lean into, we can use it as a mixer or whatever it is, but we're going to lean into a community and build a community around it. It's 50% the product, 50% of building people knowing about it and building, and the marketing and building a community about it, like with the designing around it and getting it out to the right people. I really think, the landscape has really changed, and just making people aware of it. Now, eventually, and establish a brand and what you stand for, and don't deviate. I don't care what everyone else is doing. I really don't. Because everybody's like, well, this one's doing this and this one's doing this. Look at what Kim Kardashian did, with Skims. I'm just saying with Skims and the way she's leaned in. I mean, come on.
She's brilliant.
It's fabulous.
I don't care what people
She's
say.
brilliant, but it's pretty basic though,
Definitely.
right? It's pretty basic. She dealt into this stuff. Skims, she's leaned into it. It's great. It's basic colors. You know what I'm saying? It's fabulous. And she's leaned into it. So I just feel like but she's built a community around
Definitely.
it. And I think that's really important. And then, eventually, if you want to do all different things, then you get into licensing. But you can't get into licensing until you have a brand. Like by the time I got into licensing, that's the best way to do it and not spend your own money. Was in 2009. I already was in business 12 years at that point. We had our established brand. People knew about it. We had a ton of press. And then other people who make all different things. There's huge companies that do other products, and then you are like the design director of it, but you get paid on royalties. So they're laying it out. They have to manufacture it. They have to get the sales, and there's minimum guarantees and things like that. Just like, listen, Michael Jordan, he makes all his money on licensing. Michael Jordan for Nike. Is he making the Nikes? No, but his name is attached to it.
Definitely.
So I think that young designers really, that's what it is, depending whatever product it is. It's like, and social media, it's so easy to start a company now compared to like when I started, I think.
No, I completely, we actually just talked about this the other day, how people like can become famous overnight. And then like Haktua has brands now and all these endorsements. And you're like,
I know, that's insane.
For that, she's worth $12.5 million.
But good for her. I mean, if she can hustle it out and like, if it hits, it hits. I was going to ask you that too, because that's something that Eric and I discussed starting this podcast. We were like, if we're going to do it, we have to put ourselves out there fully. And I feel like you've done that with Housewives, but we are business. I have a Christmas stocking line out at Neiman's currently. And I'll send you one. You're going to be obsessed. But I know it's hard for us too. Do you feel like Housewives and putting yourself out there has hindered yourself or helped you in the workspace? Because I know for me, you know what I mean? It's like some people's social media is so business. But I feel like with Housewives and like myself, I put it all out there. I'm like, it is what it is. Take it or leave it. Do you feel as though sometimes you have to reprove yourself because you've put a difference?
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's great because it's given me a platform. A lot more people know about it. Housewives is amazing for that. Great platform. People know about you. You are able to get out there in front of so many people. You can pick up the phone. Truthfully, anybody's going to take your phone call. Great. Because they know you have the social media following, which people want in a brand. So that's the best part. Now I've lost deals because I'm on Housewives. They think there's a negative connotation with it. The year that I had my hair pulled, which was horrible, I lost a very big QVC deal. They're like, we don't want that on QVC.
And that wasn't even you.
And that was like a big deal. And I had a freak out. And I mean a freak out. And I was really, really upset. So, you have to be very, very careful what happens. And that was sad for me. That was really sad. But I learned a lesson.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
No, but it is very interesting because I think a lot of people feel that way too. I've been dealing a lot because of these brands I'm with, Neiman Marcus now, CEOs. And they don't care. They don't care about what you, like, they really just want a business person next to you. So if you are out there fully as like a real housewife, you can't tell me that their wife or husband doesn't watch the show. So then all of a sudden this connotation is like, oh, this is a housewife now and not a business person, which you've already had
Even though she's had all this
brand
success.
before then.
Yes. Listen, I will go into a meeting and sometimes I'll say, hey, they're like, oh, she's on Housewives. I go, I'm not some dippy housewife brand. I will say that.
Yeah, because you aren't. I mean, it's like,
I've had a business. I've grown a $50 million company. I will go in with all my statistics and say that. Because listen, let's be honest. There are a lot of fly-by-night housewife brands that people come on. They do, I did this, I did that. It's a one and done. People come up with all these ideas and we have to, not kid ourselves. A lot of people come out with stuff on Housewives and it's just for the show or whatever it is. It never takes off. And that's not me. I've had a brand in Walmart since numerous brands at different times since 2010. Yeah. And it's still there. So.
And you don't promote it on the show.
So I do. And I do feel like sometimes people are just like, well, is she really a designer? And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this a very long time.
Yeah, well.
And I know it's about the numbers and the sales and the business and it's the marketing, but there's not a better platform and a marketing platform than being on a TV show and having that social media following and getting people to know about it. And there's, fans are devoted. So I will say
Ain't that the truth? And I think you, like what I said earlier, we feel such a kinship with you. Like, I feel like we have a lot of mutual friends, but I feel like I know you so well. Like, if we walked in, I could go sit and have dinner with you, spend the weekend with you, and it'd be great.
Of course.
Wouldn't think twice about it. So it's such an interesting, I think that's where Eric and I have talked a lot about actors and in the entertainment. You meet them and they're not these characters on TV that you want to meet. And I think it benefits you because I'm like, when I meet you, I know what I'm going to get.
Exactly. I am exactly what you see on the show. And some people might love it. Some people might not. People are like, oh, she's mean, she's tough. No, I'm a rough, tough cream puff, right? I'm tough on the outside, soft on the inside. And, and that's really what it is. What you see is what you're going to get. I'm very warm and loving, but I'm going to give it to you straight.
Is the show, where is the show right now? Is it coming back? Do we know? Are there others?
We don't know. We don't know, Eric. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea.
What would be your dream? Like, would you rather half the cast come back or your own spinoff or?
You know what? I am very, very torn. Listen, I want everybody to stay employed in some capacity. Yeah. Do I want to be with everybody on the show? Clearly, I cannot get along with everybody. But I don't like anybody to lose money.
Well, and I would love you you should bring the Pigtail show back.
I think the name of that, Pigtails and Power Tools, is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God, be like the
new $1 million listing and or get y'all with Jeff Lewis.
I know. Listen, I love Jeff. I love Jeff so much. Do you not adore him?
Okay, sister.
She's been obsessed with Jeff forever.
Ever and ever. And I'm the voice of Pillowcat on Gabby's Dollhouse, which is the biggest children's show. And his daughter's obsessed with it.
Okay, I have to listen to that. Okay, Monroe is obsessed. So you go on, Jeff
I haven't
Lewis?
been on, but I did him a voice memo because Shane contacted me and they were like, I sent him like a whole little special thing for Monroe. I've met him twice. My mom sat next to him in first class, was obsessed with him, loved him. I'm like, we are so intertwined.
Why don't you tell them you want to go on the radio
show? I know I should. I need to go on with you.
Her voice has been on it.
My voice has been on it.
Why don't you just text Shane? We'll tell him to have
I would die. But it's talk about like somebody that's done the best job with, because you kind of think when a housewife show ends, I miss him now more than ever. I think he's more popular now more than ever.
Yeah, he's had his other shows, Hollywood House Lift, which I love.
So freaking good. Then you have Luann's. I think I love the new Real Housewives of New York. great group. They do their own thing. I miss that because I grew up with them. I miss the Luanns. I miss Ramona.
I know. Listen, I'm very good friends with Dorinda. Her and I are doing this Blonde Ambition tour together, like Blondes in Business. So we're doing a little tour.
And my mom, y'all, my mom's all over Real Housewives. She hung out with Dorinda. They went to dinner together. Talk about the sweetest human being on this earth.
Okay, I think that's hysterical. She went out to dinner
Is
with
that
Dorinda.
not wild? They ran into each other. Where were they? Was it New York at the Plaza or something? And they were sitting next to each other at the bar, and then they stayed together all night. Then we went to their show. Like, remember the little trio? It was Luann, Dorinda, and I think Ramona. And they saw each other again. I was like, I swear. That's how I met Heather Dubrow in Chanel in New York, like 15 years ago, and we've stayed in contact ever since.
That's so good.
But I always feel like no matter what, Kyle Richards, the same. I think, too, a lot of the time, I love these people because I've met them in real life, too. And I don't even think Dorinda, I think she's gotten such a bad edit sometimes on the show because she is one of the kindest, most down-to-earth, authentic, very real. Like, I think a lot of time they make her out to be a hothead, and she is not that. I mean, she is one of the easiest people in the world to talk to.
She is so deep. She's so smart. I love to be with her. We have the most intimate, fabulous conversations. If I go to her apartment, she's like, take this jacket. Don't you love this jacket? This goes with that dress you're going to wear to that wedding. She just is the greatest person. We have deep discussions about farro salad. I mean, she is hysterical. I go into her house in the Berkshires. She's the warmest hostess. It's so comfortable there. You feel like in your own home. One of the top 3 houses I've ever been in. Anybody who's ever insulted it when it was on that Ultimate Girls trip pisses me off because they have no style or no taste because literally it's the most magnificent home in the entire universe. Her grounds are unbelievable.
That home I would die.
Now, I'm curious to know off camera. I mean, this show has given you guys, there are only so many people in the world that know what this experience is like, other housewives.
Yes.
Do you guys have like this like off camera, friendship and like has it given you this community of other women to kind of that you have in your life now, probably forever? Or is it one of those things where it's like, it's just too close to home, and when you're out of the show, you want nothing to do with the show? Or is it like, is this a bonding thing for you guys where you now are kind of have this thing?
That's how Eric is with Yellowstone, like the entire Yellowstone crew.
I have so many questions for Eric also about 18, because Joe and I are obsessed.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
We're obsessed with the 1883, I Die. I'm still waiting for that to come back, but we have to.
Literally, we got to bring y'all to Texas. I think were you just here at Bowie House?
Yeah, we were at, where were we? We were in, we stayed in Fort Worth because we're selling Soirée, Kimpton Hotel Group. So we were there.
Yeah, that's Bowie House.
That's Bowie House? Is that what?
So you were,
okay, something severely is wrong with me that I don't even realize.
So you were down the street from us. Isn't that the most gorgeous hotel?
Yes,
there's really Western themed and like really like modern art and all the cool.
We went into that hotel. No, we were at Kimpton because the Kimpton Hotel is buying it. But we went into that hotel in the what's that area called where they run the cattle?
Stockyards.
Yeah, the stockyards. Oh, the Drover.
Stockyard. Yeah, the Drover.
Oh, yeah.
How gorgeous is that Drover?
It's incredible.
Oh my! No, we got to bring you back. We got.
No, I'm coming back and we'll be together.
Please.
So wait a minute. So we were just saying, okay, I digress.
So
I was obsessing about 1883 because we're like dying for it to come back, and I don't know what's going on, but you're going to tell me after. So because Joe and I, we watch everything, that Taylor Sheridan does. Every single thing. And everything you guys do. We're
it's
obsessed.
brought us as like a Taylor Sheridan universe. Like all of us from all the different shows are all friends, and we do events, and we host rodeos and whatever else we do in the world all the time. And so it's brought us this community. And so that's why I was curious to know if like this Housewives community is actually that.
Yes. It is. I feel like it's a sorority. I definitely feel like it's a sorority. When you see another house, like, then you'll talk about your different things. And we actually share producers because, a lot of them work freelance. So some of my showrunners go on other shows. And then I'm like, I always say to my showrunner, don't love them more. Don't love Potomac more than you love me. This one guy, Eric. It's just very fun. But it's just, yes, it's very much a sorority. I mean, there hasn't been that many housewives. What are we at 140? I don't know what
Right.
it is across all the years ever. So it's a very small group of, women that have done this. And it's a sorority for
And do you guys
sure.
do? Is it like? Do you have like conventions or fan events that you guys do together, or do you
Yes,
bring it
yes.
around?
We've got the BravoCon. We have got
You know
BravoCon,
that.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
Bravo. I forgot about that actually.
it is absolutely crazy. We have the best fandom ever, and it is such a high. And you go, and there's installations, and we're doing panels and crazy things, and live watch what happens lives, like 3 a night the entire time we're at BravoCon. It was originally in New York, then it moved to Las Vegas the last time, which I liked way better.
Oh, you gotta
And
love Vegas.
it's really that is really a special time because you meet everybody and every show from Below Deck to all the Housewife franchises to the Summer House. It's just it is pretty spectacular.
Are they showing these shows overseas as well?
Yes, yes. We're in 39
That's
countries.
unbelievable.
Can you imagine?
No. So you I mean, you can go all over the world and people are going to get super excited
Yes,
about Roz.
people definitely know us. Like, where I was in Ireland, people knew us. I've been in Italy and people know. It's funny. It's
You're
kind
like,
of
I'm
funny.
a
Yeah.
legend.
Very big in Australia. Haven't been in Australia, but I haven't been there, but people do know us in Australia, fans, right? To me.
Now, I know, like, with Eric as an actor, if he is on a show, a series regular, but his contract ends and another show comes, do you have to go, say another network comes to you now? Do you have to go back to Bravo and be like, hey, they want me now. Are we going to hurry up with Real Housewives or do you have no?
I probably do have to go to them. I don't know. I don't think my contract is totally up yet with my option. I have to look after. I have to actually ask my
I
attorney.
know, because I'm like, sister, I am ready to see you on TV again. It just
Oh,
doesn't feel
thank you.
right, especially because we didn't complete the season. I mean, we did, but didn't. Or I just would love it to come back and have Teresa and Louis, if they have to keep her, let them have their own show and just not on Real Housewives anymore.
That's a thought. That's a. I know. Listen, we have to get back to the good times and the good fun. That's really
Oh my God.
the hijinks. I mean, I would love it would be great to film it like the holidays and have argue about Christmas decorations.
Yes, like so petty. Okay, I will talk about this though, because I am a Dolores girly lover. I think she's loyal.
I love Dolores.
Our sister broke. That meeting confrontation with you, sister.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, she yelled in
we
my
broke.
face.
Like I have never seen her. It almost like it was a psychotic break. Like I've never seen anything like that. Like that is so not her. So that's why I think it was like
It's so not her.
Eric.
And by the way, we're very good friends, and that's why it dropped immediately. But I was like, what's going on? I was like, what
it was one of those things where I felt like, when you're so close to it's like our mothers. We're gonna lose it at them.
Yes.
And they're like, but it's actually about something else.
That's the way I felt. That's why you could say I was very shocked. I was like taken off guard. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, what do you say?
Shooketh. That was really the last time, because everyone was in the talks that like it might be the last season or, change up. That's when I was like, okay, things maybe have gotten just a little too different.
Yes, it did. And we made up right away, but I just think everybody was at their breaking point. We were all at our wits' end by that end of that season, because I think it was just so much negativity outside the show. When they're having burn meetings about me with an attorney, I mean, that's pretty sick, That's why I had to lighten the mood with that funeral arrangement, and make fun of it. But otherwise,
no, that's how I still feel like that attorney, no offense to him, but I feel like he's like on TV, like, call 1-800-484-33.
I know.
Like Saul Goodman or something.
Yes, I didn't lie when I said his office is near the meth clinic.
It is. Yes, that is so true.
And above a pizza parlor.
Oh
Stop.
my gosh! Now, are producers throwing gasoline on these fires when things get going? Are they like, oh yes, let's more of this, and like, are they seeing what's going to make?
I was going to ask that about producers.
I mean, on our show, you don't have to. I mean, our show just ignites on its own. I don't know what happens on other shows. I feel like on our show, it's just we're crazy.
No,
okay, so they're not moving these chess pieces in certain directions
like
to
the
be
Bachelor
like knowing kind of orchestrating this extremeness that happens.
No, I wish they were. I almost wish they were. It would make me feel better. But on our show, they
now,
don't.
where do you see yourself? What would be like your dream come true? It doesn't even not about Housewives. next? Like I always say, you obviously have your end goal, but like in the next 5 years, where would you just really be so happy with? Obviously, Joe's health, number
Listen,
one.
I would love to see, Joe, everybody healthy in my family. I would love to see my younger, my son get, find somebody and get married, ideally, which would be great because I'd love to throw a fantastic party. I would love to see Soirée blow up. I would love to see Soirée blow up and, have a nice little buyout, at least have one, you know, big buyout happen or like in the works in 5 years and just like really take a break, buy something in Italy. Joe's goal is to buy something in Italy. And, like my whole life, I want to be like renovating, doing stuff, buying a property overseas, something in Europe, but definitely in Italy and like that. And like, Joe always says, it's like, he's never retiring. He'll die. That's the way he
Yes.
feels. But just like traveling more, enjoying my family and things like that. But I think in 5 years, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like Soirée to blow up. That in 5 years has to. And then really getting, my younger son, hopefully, maybe he'll be married. He'll be in his 30s by then. And just really enjoying my family. I think that's the ultimate goal. And buying something in
And I
Europe.
feel like Bravo should be listening because I think this would be a great special. Y'all fixing up a place in Europe while we're kind of waiting to figure out what they're doing with New Jersey. Just have like a Margaret special in Europe.
I would love to be doing something like that. It's funny. I'd love to be, bossing people around and especially my husband, renovating, doing stuff. Do I take my time? Yes, because I'm working on something always. I have a business, I have my house. Everyone's like, why didn't she finish her house? Well, A, I'm not basic bitch, and B, I like to take my time. And I also have
And you're probably
businesses.
not there
That's
half the time.
That's not the only thing I'm doing. And that's what it is. But I do have a love of interiors. And I think that's what I want to focus on.
Now we end each of our show. Our show is called the Glamour and Grit. Our guests asking them what is their glamour and what is their grit. It can be of the week. It can be of, the year, just things.
Something that's feeling good and happening good in your life, and then something that's like, oh, I got to get through this, or this is annoying me today, or,
Okay. I mean, just today, the glamour or my everyday glamour.
Could be
thing.
today,
Either.
could be the week, could be just,
Ours change daily.
Yours changes daily. Okay. I mean, I have a lot of glamour things that the glamour of it all is I've never had a chipped toenail or a chipped nail. My most glamorous decadent thing in my life is my husband has never seen my naked toenail. So I am very
You are an amazing wife.
that is some glamour, baby.
That's my most glamour thing. So I think, when I don't think I'm that high maintenance, that is one big luxury. I have a very expensive manicure and pedicure. And it's very funny. I have like a big thing about that. So that's my big glamour thing. Because if you guys saw me in the morning, I really look like Chicken Little and crazy, but my nails and toes are always perfect. So that's why I have an inner glamour like that I definitely have. My grit right now is I have to get rid of most of my rugs because I have a new puppy and my old dog would pee on my rugs. And now my new dog is smelling my rugs. So as soon as I get off this podcast, I will be ripping out my bedroom rug. I already threw out my office rugs because my puppy came pretty much potty trained. And now the grit and the disgusting thing is I'll be ripping out
all over.
And now before we say goodbye, where can...
Is that too basic?
No, absolutely not.
No, I am so. I always giggle sometimes.
Like my grit today is like the stupid sinus infection. Like it's so basic, but like that's bothering me right
No, but I giggle sometimes.
Oh, sinus infection is the worst.
We'll have guests and they go so deep with their glamour and grit. And Eric and I will leave and be like, oh, wow, that was really deep. So
my grit is that I just listen to that grit.
Yes. I was like, so I'm so happy.
Where can the fans find and purchase Soirée? Because I want this to blow up and be and I can't wait to try it.
Oh, I love you, Eric. Thank you. Just go on drinksoiree.com. We have a list of retailers, because it's not all over the United States yet. And we also
Perfect.
ship.
Amazing.
Cannot wait. Non-alcoholic, which I'm on a kick right now. I've been on and off, but I'm like, been fighting really. I did 6 months of no alcohol this year just to like say that I did it. And so for this to be a product that you've got going on, it just makes me so happy because I'm always looking for.
Oh, thanks. We'll be sending you some. Thank you so much.
We love you.
We love you so much.
I love you guys. Thank you.
The Fort Worth Film Collaborative is a film workforce development certification program to address the growing need for trained film industry crew in the greater Fort Worth area. The one-of-a-kind curriculum will provide students a pathway to employment in the film industry. In August 2023, the Fort Worth Film Commission and Tarrant County College, in partnership with 101 Studios, launched the program, which will foster local talent and build a robust film workforce in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. Tarrant County College will serve as an educational backbone of the Fort Worth Film Collaborative. Leveraging their state-of-the-art facilities and experienced faculty, the college will provide a platform for students to gain an understanding of the film industry and develop practical skills essential for success in the film industry. The Fort Worth Film Commission and Tarrant County College also worked with several local entities on this project, including Red Productions, Out of Order Studios, MPS Studios, and Paravision. Local industry experts contributed to the curriculum with instructional videos, including a gaffer, location manager, professionals in key departments, including hair and makeup, accounting, key grip, and camera. To learn how you can take part in the program, please visit tccd.college/film. For more information on the Fort Worth Film Commission, visit fortworth.com/film.
Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit.